Hey everybody, Missional Amphibians weekly update. Yesterday I came back from a informal get-together that several of us had here in our missional community in Ventura County and beyond to commission and pray for a couple, a very respected couple who's been in missions for decades and is moving on to a new season. And it was so interesting. I just wanted to share how much of a blessing it was talking to some different people. I talked to this one guy who'd been a missionary in Indonesia for I think like 16 years, and then he'd also been a missionary in Chile for another 15, and was back in Southern California now, working with his hands, doing plumbing work to support his family, but also still involved in ministry. And just looking at this guy and just thinking, this guy, I mean, just the richness of his experience, and just thinking about the fact that he is just a guy who's willing to do whatever. If it's to work with his hands to support his family, living back in Southern California, so be it. If it's to plant a church and turn it over to the locals, in Indonesia, or preparing Hispanic, Latinos in Chile to be missionaries to go to Indonesia, which is what he did, then his heart was to understand. Look, I'm a pilgrim. I'm living in tents with my family. We're going to be building this here and then turning it over and then hearing whatever God says is next. And it's just so amazing to meet these kind of guys. Not necessarily a famous guy or someone who, wow, he's on the radar of the huge, powerful evangelical dog and pony show, but just an amazing guy. And another guy, I ran into a guy that years ago, when me and Katie were working in YWAM, Los Angeles, this guy, I remember his heart was to be in the film industry. I had lost contact with him, but he was just, I met with him, and he's actually the guy who produced that documentary called Expelled, with that Jewish guy, talking about, how they don't want to allow uh, the idea of creationism in the academic sphere, in the universities. And just talking with this guy, seeing his wife again, their son, and just being blown away by what God has done. And then also another thing that blew me away that was awesome was just this meeting was promoted by one of our dear friends who he basically has a ministry of hospitality and just building bridges and gathering people with a missional heart, from church planting movements, from missions movements, and very diverse organizations, but bringing them together to build bridges and to encourage each other. And I just wanted to say that this is really what to me is so awesome, is just this informal community of people with a kingdom mindset. And it's so amazing, if we break out of that cookie cutter, again, evangelical dog and pony show mentality of, the local churches are basically tithing farms that are, getting people to, get the cows in, get the tithe flowing, get the salary position, youth pastor, get the missionaries going and stuff, and we'll support them. Again, I'm not against that. I am that. I still am a missionary who does receive donations. I've been a pastor. I've received salary. I'm totally in favor of all that. I mean, totally, totally in favor. I spent 25 years doing church planning, and I'm a member of a local church that I'm totally involved in. But just to say that we have to have a culture when we're in the local church, when we're in missions organizations, that realizes that the vast majority of the people that we raise up for ministry are going to be going into the spheres of influence. They're going to be going to do all kinds of things. And even the ones that end up becoming church planners in places like Indonesia and Chile and wherever they go, even the ones who go overseas, they're going to go through all kinds of different seasons of change. They might find themselves back in Southern California, working with their hands, supporting their family. They might find themselves, going through seasons where it seems like that ministry and that calling, it's kind of in the on the shelf for a while. But it's just so cool. This is really what I've dreamed of over the years, is being a part of and seeing this community, this missional community that transcends denominations, that transcends missions organizations, and that it involves local churches and missions organizations. Those are always going to be such an important wineskin, but that there be this kingdom mentality, this kingdom movement that transcends those things. So I just wanted to say, yesterday I was a part of a get together that was so encouraging in that sense. And for all those who pray for us and support us, I just want to continue to ask for your prayers for our the content we'll be putting out this week in Portuguese. We're growing our public that is watching our discipleship materials. And I think that's it. Just thank you guys so much, and have a great week. Blessings on you. That was a Minsoy.